Good morning, everybody. This is Christy from the Be the Light YouTube channel. I thank you so much for stopping by, and as always, I send you love. In today's video, I want to talk about the full moon of October the 1st, which is going to be called the harvest moon, the way that things have lined up this year. This full moon occurs in Aries, which is linked to the unstable Uranus. Which is strongly influenced by Mars retrograde, which is square of Saturn. All of this comes to play, and all of this comes to play within our chakra system, but also the tree of life that is activating within us, that is therefore activating our Merkaba field, our energetic field. So I began to feel exactly what this full moon is bringing yesterday. I was very, very aggravated and very upset, and it continuously happened throughout the day. And I tried my best to see what I was doing and to make it stop. But every time something came up, and I was like, this is not me. No, this is not me. What is going on here? It's the full moon energies. We are already beginning to feel this. A lot of us pick up the energies days in a week or 2 weeks prior to it coming in. A lot of us may feel the effects longer. So for myself, I feel it early, sometimes a few days early, sometimes a week earlier, but then that means I won't feel it as long in the end process, where if you don't feel it until October 1st, October 2nd, you're going to actually feel it for the next end of the week, if you understand what I'm saying there. So, within, Aries represents, in relationship to our chakra system, the solar plexus. But astrically, and I hope I pronounced that word right, there is a deeper meaning to what Aries represents. That is the mind, or actually a representation of the pineal gland. If you look at the images of the, is it called the Eye of Ra? It is really called the hippocampus, but it's the Eye of Ra, or which is the or Eye of Horus, whichever one. With that image, that is actually shown of the Eye of Horus, Eye of Ra, whichever one you associate with it. It matches up exactly inside of our brain where the pineal gland, pituitary gland, and all of that, the thalamus, all of it matches up, and it looks like horns, basically. The image on the inside looks like a horn. But actually also will line up and look like a falcon. A falcon. So sorry, something just kind of clicked with me here. but it also resembles ram's horns. And unless you're actually looking at this image, you know, the eye of Horus has, it's supposed to be like the eyebrows and the outer shape of the eyes. Those actually represents the temporal lobe type surrounding thing to the pituitary area there. And my phone is really messing up today. I have no idea what is taking place here. The corpus callosum, that is actually the eyebrow, or turns into a ram's horn. And it depends on what you're actually looking at the images for it to actually resonate with what I am talking about. So if you were to Google hippocampus, it looks like, without seeing the eye of Ra, it looks like ram's horns, the way that they are shaped. But of course, it matches the eye of Horus. So, if you know the meaning of what the eye of Horus or eye of Ra is, you know that it means truly to receive higher states of consciousness and inner knowingness. Now, this is related to wisdom here. But because of what is taking place with the energies associated with it, there is going to be a sense of intense purging. Intense purging. It's as if there's been a buildup of the energy that has been leading up to this full moon and will be leading up to this full moon, because once we hit this point here, this is where a lot of us are integrating, embodying, if you will, the energies that are associated with what we have worked for. I have been talking about the activation of the pineal gland and also the eyebrow area in the eye of Horus, which is also a representation of the ram's horn, is actually the imaginary Ark of the Covenant in the Bible that creates that rainbow bridge from the pineal gland to the pituitary gland, that shines the rainbow light within. Of course, there are other things that have to take place, which we have been working so hard to activate. There's the Alta Major we have been opening up to. We have been opening up to the Bindu. Now remember, when we are, and especially, well, and when I talk about we are tapping into stuff. So it takes, I foretold you about a month ago, within the last month to 2 months, depending on where we are, that we are tapping into the pineal gland. We are tapping into the rainbow bridge. We are tapping into the Alta Major. We are tapping into the Bindu. It doesn't mean we receive it then. There is that process of tapping into it, learning those lessons associated with it, purging what is necessary. And then in time, when it is ready for that complete activation of everything, which means we're linking up, for instance, Bindu, Alta, pineal, pituitary, crown, all of those create that diamond crown that I have been talking about as well. But prior to having that complete activation, we have to connect the dots to everything. And if you aren't here yet, by you having this awareness and trying to allow this to really, oh, this makes sense, or this is very interesting, or wow, I'm excited about what she is explaining, myself, that's what I mean, then you're beginning the process of allowing this to take place. But in order for it to take place, you have to do the levels previous, before it. All of the lessons, all the other activations prior to receiving all of this. You can't just jump up here and expect it to be, because there's just a process to everything. We all know that there is a process. But by believing in something, you are allowing that activation to take place in that natural flow state. So we have this buildup that could be anger, frustration, even judgment, quick-tempered. I experienced all of that yesterday. And I hope I'm not going to today. I am going to do my best to be more mindful, even though I was really mindful yesterday after I noticed my pattern. But I just couldn't shake it. I couldn't shake it. I'm not going to lie. And I kept voicing it. I said, I am sorry. I am really aggravated today. I'm aggravated today. And I apologized after every single time. But it did take place, and that's it. So, the sun is opposite the moon, which gives us the full moon. And remember, when this takes place, it is about your home, your family, your intimate relationships, and bringing those into sharper focus. Now, it could also mean home within your heart, the family within your heart, the intimate relationship with self. Now, I always take things in several ways when I am trying to learn, because I really want to be my greater self. I take it, how does this affect me personally? My home relationship with myself, my personal relationship with myself, the love I have for myself, and then everything else in my life. Now, how does this, and I don't know if you've noticed, their phone has been really doing things that are weird. Appliances are doing things that are weird. And a lot of crazy things are probably taking place right now. And for some reason I am getting emotional. I have the need to cry right now as we speak. And I'll have to figure that out on my own. But how does this pertain to our tree of life? This is going to affect our head. And this is probably going to affect more the right side, but is not limited to. It can have that tug and pull between the left and the right hemisphere of your brain. So the entire crown can be affected throughout this phase here, which means your eyes, your nose, your sinus cavities, your throat, ears, of course, your head. Everything can go with this. Also, it can radiate down to the side of your neck, your shoulder, your right. I have to think about this. Your left shoulder may be affected, and your left hip may be affected during this time, because we are dealing with the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction still, and that T square, which is really it's like an L shape from Uranus, Saturn, and Mars. Excuse me. Now, when I look at this image, it's creating another diamond, or another pyramid effect here. There seems to always be that pyramid effect. And the Great Pyramids, of course, represent higher states of consciousness. It also represents the Orion's belt lines up, which also represents the pituitary pineal gland connection from within, and it could be the I'm missing another so anyway, I'm sorry about that, but in our tree of life we will have the pyramids also within our tree of life. And then, of course, that makes it having the triangles within it. And we all know that when the triangles are complete, it activates the Merkaba. We have been working on this activation of our Merkaba for a long time. And we actually have been using it to get from third dimension to the higher dimensions within. And we are tapping into the seventh dimension. We're tapping into higher dimensions depending on who you are and what your purpose is and what your gifts are. You're tapping them in and you're bringing them down into our third dimensional body. And so we are connecting another triangle here, the Holy Trinity from within. And the moon is being the center of gravity, if you will, which also, you know that the moon deals with our emotional state. It is dealing with water. And so Aries is a fire sign. We're dealing with Saturn is also a fire sign. Mars is an earth sign, and I already said moon is a water, or an element, I'm sorry, so please excuse me there. But also to keep in mind, so we have two fire signs here we're working with. Let's see, what did I say? So Aries is a fire sign, which is the ruler of Uranus. We have Saturn. I hope I said this correctly. Saturn is an air. Sorry, I think I may have to. And then we have Mars, which is a water. Now, this is making another connection. When you have fire, air, and water, and of course the moon, we're having all the elements right here. All elements combined at this time, which is going to create spirit. And that's why this activation here that we are in is so important. And wisdom is the key here. Wisdom in the terms of making the greatest decisions. are you making the greatest decision for yourself, for others? So we will have this struggle that we will be dealing with. And I am trying to look at my notes at the same time, so I apologize. Yeah, I don't really, for the most part, I make my videos as unrehearsed is the word I guess I'm trying to say. And here's something that I forgot to mention. Throughout the Lionsgate, I spoke about an orb that I was seeing in my right eye. In the beginning of August, it began, or on August the 8th, it began mostly at the top right corner of my right eye. And it began to move at a diagonal, in a diagonal line towards the center of my vision, where I received the infinity sign. And then all of a sudden it was just gone. I couldn't see it. I was like, okay. And then it appeared again. It was still there, but it just shifted. It became transparent almost. And so now it has made its way back up to almost being at that point of where I originally had seen it at. And this has now made sense to me as the transition of the way that spirit works within us. It is that downward process to that rising process. And the right eye is considered to be the eye of God. The right side of us is the most powerful side. But in merging both divine and masculine sides of us, both masculine and feminine sides of us, we are creating balance. And it's not just that. Now we have been really working towards something here that I have noticed is that we are connecting above and below, and we are connecting them within these diamond shapes, or pyramid shapes. And if you know, the downward facing triangle is the feminine sign, and the upward one is the masculine. So we have already activated those, but then there's the sides as well, the left and the right side, that also connects another layer of a pyramid shape. That creates a square, which is the four foundations, which is the four elements, and when combined are united and create spirit. So I wanted, before I let you go and quit making this video, I begin with my day. Wisdom means how to accurately act in one's current situation. Wisdom doesn't always mean that you know it all about a topic, whatever it is. Wisdom, true inner wisdom, is choosing the greatest outcome for yourself and for others around you, for your life right now. When you can first begin to do that, you activate that wisdom connection within. And of course, it gives you, when we activate these certain dimensions. We are given a gift that is associated with that topic. And because as a result of what this is doing, wisdom is associated with our pituitary and pineal gland. There's a knowing that takes place when this is healthy. There's, of course, health takes place when this is functioning properly. So I wanted you to be prepared for not only what we are doing, but the side effects of what we are doing. I have crown pressure today. And actually a little bit of upper chest. I can breathe. There's a little bit of I can breathe. I don't want to say restriction. There is just something in my upper chest that I can feel, kind of a heaviness, but nothing severe. So it has radiated down. And this, of course, is where the high heart is I'm talking about, your thymus gland. And this is actually also where the threefold flame energetic field, the love heart that we have actually tapped into a few months ago as well. And I expressed this in one of my other videos, that it has been snapped in place. When this is snapped in place, we can embody love. And I'm not saying it's complete yet, because we still have other activations to go along with it. You know, you activate something, but then there's another activation process. And when all of these other small or minor activations take place within us, everything in time links up together. Everything connects together. All of these small, minor, larger connections are made and united as one. And that is when we become whole and complete. And that's another thing. With that, the connection of the pyramids, the masculine and feminine. This is the reason why we have all felt separate. Because we have been separate from our own selves on the inside. You know, we felt more feminine or more masculine or more illogical instead of heartfelt or you know, things like that. And when we incorporate everything together, we're one with ourselves. Therefore, we can be one with everything. So this is Christy. Much love, health, and healing your way. I am bringing purpose to your life. Take care.